A few months ago, my daughter visited and asked why I kept letting unknown numbers ring without answering. I told her I wasn't ignoring people, I was ignoring machines. She didn't understand, so I walked her through what I learned watching the phone system change and how those silent calls became the first symptom of something much bigger. It starts with that dead air. You answer, you say hello, maybe twice, and then nothing. You hang up annoyed, assuming it was a dropped call. But the truth is stranger and a bit unsettling. That silence is a test, not done by a human, but by a machine called a predictive dialer. It calls thousands of numbers in bursts, faster than any group of people ever could. Its only job is to make sure a scammer never sits idle waiting for their next victim. So it calls you, listens for your voice, and if it hears anything at all, it marks your number as alive. Not profitable yet, just alive, which is the first step in the scammer's little ecosystem. When you say hello, you've already done more than you realize. You've given the system confirmation that there is a human being on the other end who answers unknown numbers. That tiny piece of information changes the value of your number. Numbers that never respond are considered cold. Numbers that respond are considered warm. Warm numbers get fed to the humans who make the real pitch. Worse still, they can be bundled, sold, and resold between call centers all over the world. A single yes from you, spoken without thinking, can move your number from a dusty database into an expensive lead list. The first time I learned this was back when predictive dialers were brand new and only the big telemarketing firms had them. I was in a small windowless room with a handful of engineers who were grinning like men who had just solved some ancient riddle. They showed me how the system paused when someone answered, then connected them to the nearest free agent. Those few seconds of dead air were nothing more than the lag between machine and man. Back then, I didn't think much of it. It was just business. Years later, when scammers got their hands on the same technology, it became something darker. They didn't want to sell you a product. They wanted to profile you. The machine doesn't just confirm you exist. It learns when you are likely to pick up. Morning, afternoon, late evening, it logs patterns. It builds little guesses about your daily life. You become more than a phone number. You become a schedule. And if you pass their test more than once, you move from warm to hot, and that is when the real calls begin. The aggressive ones, the ones that pretend to be the bank or the power company or the police, the ones that use fear, urgency, or shame to make you act quickly before you think. A friend of mine from church, Alan, fell for one of those. He's a proud man in his 80s who hates asking for help. He picked up one of those silent calls for weeks without realizing he was training the system. Then one afternoon, the voice finally came through. A young man pretending to be from the utility company told him his power would be cut off in 45 minutes unless he verified his payment method. Alan didn't want to alarm his wife, so he handled it alone. By the time he realized it was a scam, his checking account was nearly emptied. He didn't tell anyone for a month, not because of the money. He ended up getting most of that back, but because of what it cost him in pride. I sat with him on his porch a few weeks after he finally admitted it, and that's when it really struck me how much damage a single hello can set in motion. So let me tell you what I told my daughter that afternoon in my kitchen. The most powerful defense you have is silence. When an unknown number rings, you can still answer if you're curious or cautious, but do not announce yourself. Do not say hello. Do not say yes. Just lift the phone, hold it to your ear, and give that machine nothing. After a few seconds, it will assume you are a voicemail or a deadline, and it will drop you from its priority list. In time, it will drop you entirely. And if the caller happens to be a real person, they'll speak first because real people hate silence far more than machines do. There are other little habits that help. Letting unknown numbers go to voicemail. turning on the phone setting that screens unidentified callers. And for those with a sense of humor, there are always those who answer with the words police department or county morgue just to see how quickly the scammers run. But the heart of the strategy is the same. You deny the machine the one thing it cannot simulate or predict, your voice on command. These days, when my phone rings and I see a number I don't recognize, I feel strangely calm. I answer quietly, if I answer at all. I wait a few seconds. Then I hang up and go back to whatever I was doing. I'm no longer the target. I am simply not worth the effort. If you are listening to this, I want you to remember something. Technology has made it easy for strangers to reach into our homes without knocking. You don't have to let them reach any further. You have every right to guard your attention, your time, and your dignity. I am 84 years old, and I have learned that most traps don't look like traps at first. They look like inconveniences, little strange moments we brush aside because we don't understand them yet. The silent phone call is one of those. Once you understand the why behind it, you'll never fall for it again, and the next time that unknown number rings, you'll know exactly how to answer and when not to speak at all.